Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're diving into one of the most whispered about stories in the entertainment world. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the join button to support us even further. Now, let's get into today's fascinating story about Mahassine Merabet and Jenk Torun. A quiet story growing louder. For weeks, curiosity surrounding Mahassine Merabet and Jenk Torun has been building, not through shocking headlines or staged scandals, but through something far more subtle. The intrigue has grown slowly, almost in silence, like a tide that rises without anyone noticing until it touches the shore. What has captured fans isn't a controversy, but rather the quiet way these two appear side by side. Their gestures aren't flashy, but they resonate deeply with audiences searching for authenticity. Mahassine's new challenge. At the center of this story is Mahassine herself, immersed in one of the most ambitious projects of her career. In this film, the spotlight falls squarely on her. There are no other famous names to lean on, no distracting cameos, just her ability to hold the screen with every breath and every silence. For Mahassine, it's an enormous challenge, a role that requires her to sustain tension, emotion, and vulnerability across nearly every frame. While she faces this professional mountain, one person is always nearby, Cenk Torun. He doesn't arrive with a grand announcement, nor does he seek cameras or recognition. His choice is deliberate, to stand in the background, offering support without overshadowing the work itself. Cenk's silent role. Every day, strict rules protect the set from leaks. Phones are collected, access is controlled, and secrecy is enforced. And yet, little fragments slip through. Those fragments show Jenk consistently present near the production monitors, headphones often around his neck, sometimes jotting down quiet notes. He doesn't direct, he doesn't correct, he doesn't interfere. Instead, he greets crew members by name, thanks those adjusting lights, and opens doors for the makeup team as they rush by. His presence is not loud, it's defining. He becomes part of the rhythm of the set, not as an outsider but as a steady, trusted figure. Stories from the crew reveal small details that fans treasure. One morning, when cold winds swept across the outdoor set, Mahassine arrived to find Jenk waiting with a thermos of tea and 2 cups. Another day, after a scene that demanded several exhausting takes, he returned with a small snack box, nuts, dates, and a square of dark chocolate. Crew members began jokingly referring to it as the 3-minute rescue. Love in the smallest gestures. For outsiders, these gestures might seem trivial. But in the world of cinema, where days are long and emotions run high, they carry extraordinary weight. "This is love expressed in silence," wrote one fan after leaked images began circulating online. A handful of photographs tell the story. In one, Mahassine studies her script, upright in her chair, while Jenk softly reads a line from behind her, not imposing but simply keeping rhythm with her preparation. In another, they cross paths in a narrow hallway, she points to a note in the script, he nods, and they continue wordlessly in opposite directions. And then there is the photo that touched fans the most, the two of them walking out of the studio at dusk, shoes coated in dust, the sky shifting from gold to blue. There is no performance, no pose, only two people leaving side by side. A role that demands everything. The character Mahassine portrays is not an easy one. It's a role heavy with silences, internal struggles, and raw emotion. For the actress, this means constant energy, constant focus, and an openness that can be emotionally draining. Attempting such a performance alone would already be courageous, but having Jenk quietly at her side transforms the process into something different, a shared effort, even when only one of them stands in front of the camera. Crew members consistently describe Jenk with admiration. An assistant director recalls how he often sits in for Mahassine during lighting adjustments so she doesn't waste energy before the real take. A hairstylist notes how he always steps aside during hectic breaks so as not to block anyone's work. An electrician once saw him coil up a cable on the ground to prevent an accident. Individually, these may be small, unremarkable actions. But added together, they form the invisible foundation of support that every production depends on. Signs beyond the set. Off-set, the mystery deepens. There are no staged photo shoots or carefully curated posts. Instead, fans connect dots between subtle coincidences. A song that both share on the same day, a photograph of a book with underlined passages that appears first on one account and then hours later on the other, or an image of fruit on a wooden table that followers swear comes from the same location. Are these deliberate signals or simple coincidences? The answer isn't clear, and perhaps that's the point. For fans, the pleasure lies in the puzzle, in reading between the lines, and in imagining what cannot yet be confirmed. Why the silence? The biggest question remains, why don't Mahasin and Jenk speak openly? Why no confirmation, no interview, no post that finally says it all? The likely answer is timing. In an industry where stories appear and vanish within hours, silence can be a strategy. By holding back, they protect both their personal lives and the professional projects at stake. A declaration might satisfy curiosity instantly, but it could also risk overwhelming the very work they are trying to protect. For Mahassine, the film must come first. For Jenk, supporting her without distraction is the priority. Together, their silence becomes less about secrecy and more about balance, a way of ensuring that what matters most is allowed to grow quietly. The photograph that says it all. Perhaps the most symbolic image of all came one evening as the set was shutting down. Vans were pulling away, orange cones marked the road, and a sliver of light slipped from a warehouse door. Mahassine paused at the threshold, steadying herself. Behind her, Jenk placed his hand on the doorframe, preventing it from slamming shut. It wasn't a gesture for the camera. It wasn't planned. But in that instant, their connection was clear, unspoken, instinctive, and real. Final thoughts. So what do we make of Mahassine Merabet and Cenk Torun? Are they simply partners in silence, or are they building something far deeper away from the public eye? Fans remain divided. Some want open confirmation, others respect their discretion. But what everyone agrees on is that their connection feels genuine, mature, and strong. This isn't a story of scandal or spectacle. It's a story of two people choosing a different path, support without noise, affection without display, and patience in a world that rarely allows it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and activate the bell so you don't miss our next story. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can click the join button and become part of our community. Until next time, take care and goodbye.